What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Gridiron Bangahz here. Myself, Bryson, and we got Jake here. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, we're back again. As you noticed, Braden is not here. He is recovering from surgery on an injury, so we're letting him get his rest. He's going to be, we're not sure how long he's going to be out, but hopefully we'll have him back soon. But got to keep it going, keep the show going, keep it rolling. So I'm sure everybody's seen we got the NFL draft coming up soon, and the combine currently going on. So we'll be kind of going over some combine news, some also NFL news, free agency, and that kind of realm of off-season moves. And as we get closer to the year, closer to the trade or the draft, who's potentially going to be moving. Might see some trades, teams trading up, trading down, typical draft stuff. But yeah, let's get right into it. So we'll start with the free agency. A lot of big names in this free agency right now. Probably the biggest category being the running back position. A lot of huge names: Saquon, Jacobs, uh, Derrick Henry. Just some big workhorse backs that are, you know, have been with their team for quite a long time, big tenures. Who knows? Could be seeing some moves in the free agency, but let's just kind of go over that, see what we think. Who we could potentially see moving, or who's going to be staying. I'll kind of start. I think I've seen some news on Josh Jacobs. Sounded like he's willing to take that 1 year deal just to stay with the team. So I wouldn't be surprised if they keep him, get him a deal. He sounds like he wants to be there. They can work out a 1 year and then go from there. Just seems amicable. Not a whole lot really going on for the Raiders. I mean, not a lot of expectations. New head coach, kind of weird QB situation. Young quarterback, rookie quarterback potentially. Who knows? Maybe they look for somebody in the draft. But yeah, I think locking down a tenured running back who has had some successful seasons with them, not anything too flashy or crazy, except for that 1 year where he was kind of the RB1 of the league. And at least fantasy wise, I think he was RB1 for a little bit. But yeah, he had that one big year, and it's kind of just been mediocre here and there. But he's still a pretty good back, I think, in my opinion. Just a good power back, three down back. Just demands reps, touches, and it seems like it's an amicable deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of locked in at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like from all the running backs, he'd probably be the one that's most likely to sign with his former team, or I guess team. Yeah, pretty much former team. Um, he wants to be there. He likes Las Vegas. I feel like they've treated him well, and he's also 26. So compared to all the other guys that you said, they've been workhorses. Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, mainly those two, been in the league a while already. But he's only 26, so he's got a lot more. I know running backs, their lifespan in the league is kind of shortened, but I feel like he's capable of having a longer career. So I think it makes sense for both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah, the running back has just kind of been slowly but surely just not. I don't want to say irrelevant, but like just lost its value.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. It's like they ding you right for putting up all these numbers, right? The more touches you get, they ding you for that. They try to
Yeah,
pay you less, but then put up all those numbers. But I don't know. That's just kind of how it seems. We're getting into more running back by committee offenses, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You can thank Sean McVay for kind of really
the whole
fronting that,
the
especially.
whole Shanahan tree
Yeah.
talking about
Oh
McVay
yeah, pretty
Shanahan tree.
much. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it kind of really all started, in my opinion, with Todd Gurley.
He's not even that
Yeah,
old, and he's not even 30, and he's out of the
exactly.
league
And
already.
yeah, so that's the perfect example. Yeah, I can't remember what post I saw. I saw something about somebody like did a comparison of Gurley's age versus some other players, and like he's like younger than some of these other guys that are still going. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't remember who it was, but it was. I was kind of shocked. I'm like, is he
yeah,
really? I was like, oh, I guess he
yeah.
is.
I know, and we kind of just forget about him, especially since he had those 2 amazing years, and now he's just kind of an afterthought. But anyway, some other running backs. I think one of the bigger names that's kind of a lot of up in the air right now, Aaron Jones. I'm sure you've heard, whether he's getting taking the pay cut or he's getting cut. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they have. They definitely don't have the backs on the roster right now. Kind of support Jordan Love. I would hope. Or then again, see that's kind of tough because Jordan Love now his rookie contract. They gave him like a prove it deal, like a prove it deal, but still with the team for like maybe 2 years. But they're definitely going to extend them, so that's kind of going to be the hard part. I would say they should keep him, seeing that most of the receivers are on their rookie deals. They're all young guys, so I think keep him, maybe draft a running back. But if he hits free agency, then see, there's even more running back talent out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, big names out there right now. Um, yeah, I'm not sure about Saquon. I don't know how I feel about Saquon. I mean, I just can't picture him anywhere not in a Giants jersey. But at this point, the Giants are kind of in that sticky, like rebuilding. Not really much really going for them right now, especially with Daniel Jones, that situation, and not a whole lot going on for them defensively other than like Thibodeau and um, they traded. I forgot what his name. Their lineman. They're good linemen. They traded him to the Seahawks.
Defense,
Yeah,
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 Leonard Williams.
yeah. Leonard Williams. Yeah. So I mean, seems like the last season was just. I don't know. I feel like this is a good opportunity for him to leave because there's really not much any going on there right now anymore. I don't know. Just depends if he's
Yeah,
like trying to be loyal or feels like maybe he can get better pay from them because you know his stock has probably gone down a little bit over the years. Um, at least for what other teams are willing to pay. But um, I don't know, right? That one's the one I'm just real questionable about. Not sure. I will say Derrick Henry. I feel like is the one that's most likely, pretty much guaranteed to move at this point. Just who it's going to be.
yeah. Saquon, I know we've heard a lot of buzz about him and CJ Stroud reaching out to each other, so I can definitely see that happening. Am I a fan of it? Not really. I kind of feel like
Yeah, I don't
he
know.
just gets banged up too much to like even if they have well, I think one thing that the Texans got to do is they got to beef up their O line. But I think even if they do, I feel like just he gets banged up a lot with just these ankle injuries and stuff that he doesn't look the same. Once he has those ankle injuries, I feel like he looks a lot different than when he's just completely healthy. I feel like they should look elsewhere, but I can see it happening with Houston.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about the running back position is just it's just littered with injuries, and there's very few that are like elite after having a season-ending injury. Um, I mean, the real only like one you can say is maybe McCaffrey. Obviously we know what he's like when he's at his best. Injuries kind of um, tempered him a little bit with Carolina, but when he was healthy, it was RB1 every time, essentially, and we finally
No
saw it.
doubt.
Yeah, we finally saw it this past year. Free of injuries. So there's a lot of these running backs out there that it's just injuries is the question. But I mean that can be the case for any position, but it seems like really exemplified with the running back because it's just an injury prone position. Because obviously they see the ball a lot more. They take a lot more contact than any other position really. and
Right.
that's just part of the game. But I mean, can you really blame a guy for like being injury prone? That's not like something that they can necessarily control. I mean, yeah, they can try to do as much like off season, whether it's training, workouts and just spending money on their bodies. But at the end of the day, you can't help it. Like take Nick Chubb. That's he can't do anything about getting his leg snapped like that in a weird tackle. So um, yeah, it's just tough for running backs out there. So there's a little bit of sympathy for guys like that just have been had their careers just kind of putting that as getting hindered by injury. But yeah, it's tough when that's really what you're known for is getting hurt. Teams don't really want to take the risk. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it'd be interesting to see him with Texans. I don't know. I feel like you said, it's just what's the point if he's just going to get hurt early into the season, halfway through the season. So I don't know. Definitely a tough time to be a running back right now.
Yeah, but hey, all these guys, they got. I know they're not on top of everybody's list, but they can have a second chance, do some good things. Help a team get a ring. So, like in that case, Derrick Henry could be a Baltimore Raven, could be in that contention, right? So,
Yeah, it would be interesting. I don't know if you saw the J.K. Dobbins where he was like doing some workouts and sprints, and in my head,
I think so. Yeah.
I'm just like all that just to snap your Achilles on like week 2, week 3 again.
All that to sign with the Eagles for like 1 mil.
Yeah,
That's it.
but yeah, yeah, it's definitely a lot of big name free agents. Like we said, uh, running back real heavy right now in the free agency. Um, Another thing kind of going around the league right now, uh, Justin Fields potentially for the draft. If somebody decides to take whether they trade him for picks or however they want to go it, most likely value really only being a second or third round. Um, I will say that like it's harder to expect more because just the resume, just the play, just hasn't been higher than that, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, we've seen flashes of him doing great, but just overall, it hasn't really been consistent enough to kind of earn that any higher than that. So for me, I feel like it's a fair evaluation right now because it's like, who knows? I mean, yeah, with the Bears, he kind of had success because that's really what the Bears' identity was Justin Fields. But if some other team makes a move on him that potentially, they have some big names, some stars, some young talent, um, he might get overshadowed, and it could just be, him being a bust. So I could see why teams are probably not wanting to risk higher than that, you know, third round, maybe second round pick. But for me, it's a fair evaluation, I'd say.
Yeah, at least for second, third rounders, if he goes for that, I stuff like that's a steal. I know like he hasn't had much team success with the Bears, right? They haven't made it to the playoffs with him. Um, he's either gone on a tear, but they end up losing, or he's gone on a tear but he gets hurt or something. It's always been something like that. But he's definitely flashed his potential. I think the asking price though, it definitely going to be like a day two pick. Seems like that's what all the reports are coming out to, but it's probably going to be day two pick because also they also are going to have to whoever picks up Fields, right? They have to deal with are we going to extend them or not? So that's probably going to, I guess, take into consideration, as um, whether or not you want to extend them or if you're just going to rent him for a year, don't extend him, then I guess it makes sense then, right?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, feel bad for if it don't work out for whoever picks him up. Which, I mean, right now it looks like the Falcons are probably in the lead right now for the destination. At least that's what most reports are coming out is that the Falcons are leading right now. Maybe potentially, I don't know. Maybe in some fantasy world, the Steelers, but I doubt it.
I feel like the Steelers they need to grab him or Kirk Cousins. They need to. This is second or third round pick. That's easy to cough up in the first round.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah,
Yeah.
moving
Just think
on.
about the
Oh,
division.
sorry.
So just think about the division though. You got Joe Burrow, yeah, Lamar Jackson, possibly Justin Fields, and Deshaun Watson.
Jeesh. That's an interesting division right there for sure. Yeah, we'll see. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Um, Another big thing going on right now. Some talks reports are coming out that Darren Waller is considering retiring. Um, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, he's banged up a lot. I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't put it past him if he does want to retire. Then yeah, go ahead. I think he's taken a lot of beatings. He's had a successful career, considering that I think he dealt with drug use. I might be wrong on that. I just remember that he
something. Yeah, something. Yeah, that.
he battled some demons, and he came out on the other side. Got paid with a multi-year contract with the Raiders. So I feel like he's done good in the league. But
Yeah,
if he's gonna call it quits, then yeah, that's good for him. Just Giants are gonna be out of luck again.
yeah. I mean, I think it was a good, good life story. Good, one of those feel good stories of being able to come from nothing or turn their life around. And but yeah, like you said, he's just been riddled with injuries and just been a tough career. Being able to have a consistent year where he actually plays every game, can finish out the year, and just hasn't really had any team success either too. So at some point, it's just like I'm getting beat and nothing really to show for it. So I get it, makes sense. It sucks,
Yeah, I
but
mean, his wife's a basketball player, so right, so he can if he wants to.
you know. But another thing, I did see the video about it. I think it was what was it, the interview um, on a podcast or something. But apparently the Niners didn't really do any quarterback homework for that draft, um, which was 2017 Mahomes' draft year. Uh, did no QB homework because they were assuming that they were going to get Kirk Cousins, which is pretty funny. I mean, very typical of the Niners. Um, just another story coming out that underprepared, didn't really everybody wasn't on the same page. But yeah, that's pretty funny. That I mean, I get it in the sense of like if you're betting on signing a quarterback, you know you're not going to draft a quarterback, so why go out of your way to look at prospects? But at the same time, it's also like just in case maybe you want to have that insurance of knowing who you would draft because I think they had the second pick, right? I'm pretty sure.
So I think that year, let's see, I think it was a 2018 draft, but that before that draft, they actually traded for Jimmy G, so that's why they
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
ended
they
up not
did.
doing either, right?
Yeah,
So they kind of screwed themselves by going for Jimmy G because they
yeah,
didn't get either of those guys.
yeah. Pretty funny. Very typical. It's just like, oh yeah, sounds about right. But yeah, pretty funny one. That's definitely interesting that I saw. But I like how in the podcast they were like, but that eventually led to signing Brock Purdy because the compens- the
Yeah,
comp and
compensatory.
yeah,
Yeah.
compensatory picks were what led to Purdy. I'm like, interesting, but
Yes.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Okay. Yeah, however you want to make yourselves feel better about it, I guess. But yeah, last up, last kind of news going around the league right now. Chiefs, Jerry Sneed. So he's being franchise tagged, but they're going to allow him to look for a trade. So the only thing that can I would say this makes sense is if Chris Jones has kind of just been locked in, I guess. If maybe they've kind of quietly come to a deal where they didn't need to franchise tag. But I mean, if you're going to I don't know. I I don't know if Sneed's looking to move out. I haven't really been tracking that and hearing if that's like what he's wanting. If he's kind of fronting the looking for new teams. Um, but the fact that they're allowing him to kind of makes it sound like he is. So I'm not sure. But definitely interesting. I mean, I feel like he's definitely one of their, other than Chris Jones, for sure, one of their best guys on defense. But I will say I feel like they could afford to lose him. I think Trent McDuffie, those guys, some of the other guys in the secondary, um, specifically McDuffie. I think kind of being the biggest name, young guy, has a lot of talent. They kind of put him everywhere. He can play the slide. He can play the outside. Um, so I feel like they're probably not too concerned with losing Snead, with the fact that they're probably betting on McDuffie kind of filling that gap. Um, but I mean, if they can keep him, that's just better for them, especially if they're making to look that back to back to back. So uh, all the help they can get is going to benefit them in the long run. But I'm assuming they're probably something's probably got to be locked in with Jones if they're tagging Snead.
You're right. Like, 'cause I think we were both thinking you got to tag Chris Jones, right? But the fact that they didn't, it makes it seem like okay, you guys probably have something figured out, or else you probably wouldn't have tagged the Jarius Sneed. So I feel like with him, probably just tagging him just to try to get something out of it. I probably want more than a comp pick. Highest you could get is probably like a third round pick for. So maybe they want a second, first round pick for him that they're willing to just tag him and say he's available, name the price, and then maybe we'll match it depending on what his market value is. Kind of what it seems like, but the buzz for him, it seems like the Falcons are interested, which that makes sense too. Their defense is well, yeah, they need help on defense, pass
Yeah,
rusher,
I mean,
pretty much
I
everything.
think he would be a good combo with Terrell. I like
Yeah,
Terrell. I think he's got potential. I thought he was pretty decent. But yeah, I
oh, he's
mean,
good.
yeah, that'd be a good combo.
Outside of that, like they definitely need a pass rusher. So I don't know. I don't know. If I was the Falcons, I wouldn't give up a first round pick for him, especially considering you need a pass rusher. Probably, I'm assuming they're gonna grab the pass rusher in this draft, but
Yeah,
uh, I think it's Falcons. A lot of buzz with the Eagles. I'm like, I don't see that. That's just smokescreen.
yeah. Well, that'll wrap up just kind of the overall NFL news, league news. So now we'll kind of specifically get into the draft and the combine. So right now, the biggest thing really coming out of the combine right now is Marvin Harrison Jr. Um, Originally, reports were saying that yeah, he wasn't going to participate in the workouts, but he was going to show up for the interviews. But didn't show up at all for anything. No press conferences. Um, so I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted about how I feel about this whole, not participating. On one hand, I do get it. I mean, we're already hearing reports of like some guys are um, already, we're seeing injuries from the combine. Um,
Yeah,
I know what's that one cornerback who he ran the 4.39. Oh, I can't
Was
remember his name.
Nate Wiggins. That's
Yeah,
what it
Nate
was. Nate
Wiggins.
Wiggins.
Yeah, he said that he felt something pop, and they're saying it might be a hip flexor. Um, so I mean, we've seen other injuries too from just that 40-yard dash in recent years. Guys pulling stuff. Um, so I mean, the combine it is a physically. Um, I don't want to say like it is
It
a
is
physic
taxing.
yeah, it is taxing. Yeah, it's pretty physically demanding to do a lot of this quick bursts, short bursts, quick movement stuff. Um, in a short span can be really taxing on the body. Uh, so on the one hand, I get it. Like if guys are concerned about injuries, not wanting to, put themselves in a risky situation. Maybe they just want to work out with their team, at their school and have scouts come to that. I get that in a sense, but at the same time, also it's like that's just part of the draft is the combine. I feel like that's like we expect to see a lot of big name players in the combine. I feel like I mean to me there's no world where Caleb Williams doesn't go first and he can get away with not showing up to the combine. Um, so uh, in that sense, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's kind of locked in first. I mean, really, no matter what he does at the combine, I feel isn't going to change anything. Um, so I don't know. I'm a little conflicted about it, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not. I think he is like one of the maybe first few people that said like, I'm not going to work on the combine, which is okay. A lot of people don't. I'm not going to do the pro day either. And I was like, oh, all right. I mean, that also makes sense. I feel like combine, like you said, it can be taxing training just for the combine, just to improve your athletic score numbers, which in the end don't really translate to the NFL. It's more just
Yeah,
grades,
I
right?
forgot to mention
But
that. Yeah,
so I get that part. I say, okay, you just want to prepare for the NFL. I don't see anything wrong with that, but like I think you were invited to the combine and stuff. Obviously, you weren't going to participate in the on field activities, but I feel like he probably still should have at least done the press conferences. Um, I'm assuming he went to meetings with the teams or interviews.
mm-hmm.
Like that's one of the mandatory
Yeah, yeah,
things,
yeah.
but press conference I would have assumed the same thing. That part was a little weird, but I think he knows he's locked in as the number one receiver. He's just saying my film is out there. Just look at that. I'm not gonna perform for anybody, but I feel like this might be might be seeing more of this. I think in the coming years for guys that are just locked in already. Maybe not coming to anything or combine or pro day, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely agree. I mean, I can live with not doing the workouts, but at least show up for the other stuff. Just the socials. Um, but yeah, I mean, probably yeah, he did the interviews just because I don't think even if you could get out of those, I don't think you would even want to. Um, but
Look bad. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It's I mean, and we're coming into this new era of these young guys are a lot more. I guess the word I would use is like egotistical. Much bigger egos. You know, if they feel like they are locked in, why even put in any effort when you know you're gonna still have the same result? But yeah, I get it. We know that the combine at the end of the day doesn't make a player. Just because you put up the best 4.40 time doesn't mean you're going to translate into the league automatically. We've seen that. So, uh, yeah, we know that it's not all just apples and oranges every time. So, I'm conflicted about it. I'm like, yes and no at the same time.
So
So,
I get you though,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I'd love to see his spider chart of all his test scores. I
Yeah,
think
that
we're
would have been
all
interesting to
excited
see, yeah, to
when we
see the.
see players like him, Malik Neighbors from LSU, so guys like that. I'll compare them to the guys that came before them. I think that's the one part I think we look forward to.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on. Next one. I've kind of been following J.J. McCarthy. I think, you know, could potentially be a lot higher on some teams' boards than what a lot of people are thinking. Um, I mean, we know the big names, Williams or Caleb Williams, you know, Drake May, Bo Nix. These guys are kind of in the lead right now. You know, Daniels, Jaden Daniels. It seems like it's probably going to go Williams, May, Daniels. Um, but I feel like there's a potential McCarthy could go a little bit higher than, let's say, Bo Nix and some of these other guys that are kind of not out of that top three of like the first three going. I could even potentially see McCarthy going over Daniels. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, we've seen a lot of surprises over the years of certain teams making risky moves. But I think like the tape speaks for itself for McCarthy. I think that we kind of focus on a lot of these big names. I think especially Daniels, the fact he won the Heisman kind of jolted him into the spotlight. I felt like, um, but I don't know. I personally think that he could go. McCarthy could go higher than some of these guys. I will say Caleb is probably locked in at the for sure number one, no matter what. I don't think there's any scenario where no matter what team trades up, it's going to be Caleb at one. It's just what team potentially, if any other teams other than the Bears want to, make that risk to trade up. But yeah, I don't know. I like McCarthy. I think, yeah, he gets a little bit of flack just because Michigan ran the ball a lot, but I still think the talent is there, the potential's there. Um, if he falls down into the later part of the round, I still think he goes first round. But if he falls to the bottom half or the end of the round, oh well. I guess I think it'd probably be a good steal if he actually went. Where a lot of people were projecting him at like from that 12 to 20 range. Um, but I still think there's a potential for some teams in the top 10 to maybe make a move.
Yeah, so I definitely see him going top 12, top six. I can see a team falling in love with him just because he has he has the physical tools. I would say. I think that what the modern NFL quarterback is, as far as being athletic, being able to extend plays, he's he's tall enough too. I think the only thing is he's a little bit slim. That might be a question for some. Maybe just gotta bulk up, but I mean, Jaden Daniels is the same thing. He's very slim as well. A lot of these quarterbacks actually, they're not very they're not very thick, I guess I should say. But I don't know. I can see it happening. I'm probably not in that boat that I would do it, but I see why teams are willing to do that, or why they would. Like I said, he has the athleticism and he definitely has some untapped potential. Seeing that he wasn't used a lot in Michigan, like they,
Yeah,
which that's also yeah, it's a double edged sword, right? It's like why didn't they use him? Can be another question, which I kind of go back to, but I think the talent is definitely there. I can definitely see it happening. With maybe the Falcons fall in love with him, trade up or something. Vikings too, stuff like that. So I see it happening. I personally wouldn't do it, but I'm still doing my homework on KJ McCarthy. I kind of started my draft evaluations a little late this year, but I'm still looking at it. So maybe I'll get back to you on that.
yeah. No, I mean, who knows? We've seen we've seen teams make bold moves, and sometimes it's a league where you got to take risks. And pray that you find that guy. Because I mean, we know that just because you're first, number one, number two pick doesn't mean it always works out for you. Um, so even if he
Yeah,
falls, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, any one of these guys could be the next guy. So um, we'll just have to watch
yeah,
and see. So the next thing up, kind of in that QB realm, a lot of talk right now about Spencer Rattler. Seems like a lot of the hype is there. His stock's kind of going up. Um, Potentially, we know a lot of the other big names in quarterback we're already talking about, but he's kind of slowly making his way up the chart. Um, what do you think about Spencer Rattler?
Uh, Definitely think it could be true that maybe some of them prefer him over Bo Nix, Michael Penix, but I feel like that's like smokescreen. I don't know. I find that hard to believe. He's young, talented, because I mean, before he had his downfall at Oklahoma, he was projected to be the next Patrick Mahomes, the next first overall pick, like 2, 3 years down the line. That didn't pan out. Caleb Williams ended up taking his job, but I don't know. If they're falling in love with the talent, then yeah, I see that happening. But overall, I wouldn't. I'm out on him.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, kind of in that like at his peak, all the comparisons were Patrick Mahomes, and anytime you mention the name Patrick Mahomes, it kind of just there's just like just spotlight on you, you know, um, because obviously right now the kind of model quarterback right now is Patrick Mahomes. Um, so anytime you get anything close to that, yeah, I could see if the talks are true that teams want that type of quarterback. You know, I guess yeah, maybe he's that guy to fit that role. Um, but yeah, I think like you said, just kind of didn't really pan out that way. Um, Other quarterbacks have kind of taken the spotlight. He kind of just fell off the map a little bit there. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think the one quarterback maybe would be Penix. I wouldn't say Bo Nix. Um, Maybe I could put him over Penix. I personally just don't like Penix. Um, or not that I don't like him. I don't think that he's as good as some people might have him. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. Definitely, like you said, at any given time, any quarterback can really come into the spotlight and take over. So who knows? Maybe he's got the chance. I mean, especially if your comparisons at your peak were Patrick Mahomes, that says something about you, right? So, uh, but yeah, like you said, I mean, I don't really have him that high, and as I mentioned, the only one I would say would be over Penix. But in reality, you got to temper expectations. But who knows? I mean, some teams out there we've seen at the end of the day, maybe they know more than we do. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, right now, I can't imagine it's as exaggerated as some people are making it out to be. Um, but yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Some of those teams that might be looking to trade up, the Vikings, Giants, Raiders, teams that are kind of right now on the fence at the quarterback position. Maybe the Vikings are really the only ones. If they do actually go through with sticking with Kirk, then yeah, obviously they wouldn't be trading. But yeah, That's going to come at a heavy cost if they're looking to move up into the top five, top three, because it's for a quarterback at this point. I can't imagine it being for any other position, especially if you're going up into the top three. So it's going to be a heavy price to pay because you're basically saying to whatever team they decide to, if they trade up with, whether it's one, two, or three, you're saying that you want a quarterback. So that these teams are gonna make you pay the price. So it just depends if it's worth it. And I don't know. I mean, unless you're trading up for Caleb, I wouldn't say anything is really even for sure 100%. You could say it's worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, who knows? Caleb Williams could be a bust too, but there's always that risk. But yeah, I mean, these are definitely three teams that could use a quarterback. It just depends if the Vikings follow through or not with Kirk.
Yeah, I think this is something we talked about in another episode. I would say maybe 2 weeks ago, right? Where said that the Vikings could be trading into the top three. I said that they were going to try to trade for Jaden Daniels in the top. I said top five, but yeah, like you said, Kirk Cousins is probably the guy they want to bring back. If things fall through, this is probably the option they're going to go down. Whether it's top three for any of those guys, or maybe they go top eight to grab McCarthy if they really love him. So that could happen. Giants, yeah, they definitely want to move on from Daniel Jones. That's just a tall task to do at this point. The contract and just all the cap that they have. So they'll have to figure that out whether they can do that or not. Raiders, that definitely makes sense. Saying that they have Devontae Adams, if they bring back Josh Jacobs, whether it's 1 year deal or however much longer they bring him back for, it just makes sense. And they really need a quarterback just to get that offense going. Find a franchise guy, but also you want to make Devontae Adams happy too.
Yeah.
And the thing was, Antonio Pierce, I want to say, yeah, I think he was on the coaching staff in Arizona State. Arizona State. I think so. I'm sorry. I might be getting it wrong. No, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's Arizona State. I'm sorry. Yeah, where he was actually there with Jaden Daniels before he transferred. So
Yeah.
I think there's that connection that people are making that, oh, maybe they could be trying to trade for him, which, yeah, I can see that happening. Makes sense. There's familiarity there. So, yeah, I think we're just going to be hearing a lot of draft buzz as far as teams going to want to trade up. Next, we'll probably be here as the Falcons. Maybe we'll hear as the Rams. No, I'm just like,
I don't know. We'll have to talk about that in the next one. Yeah, we'll see. Um, but yeah, last up for the kind of draft combine news. Well, more so draft. It's looking like the Patriots are more than likely going to be looking to draft a QB, which makes sense. I mean, just haven't had really any success at the QB position for the last few years. Post Brady, uh, Mac Jones didn't really pan out. Bailey Zappi didn't really pan out, and they kind of were just teeter tottering back and forth between the two of them. Couldn't really commit to either one. Who knows? Maybe post Belichick, it could be a new era there, where maybe offense is a little more of the focal point rather than defense. So they're definitely in a position to make the pick. Most reports I've heard is that they looking like Drake May. Uh, Sound like that's probably their guy right now, at least right now in this current position. Who knows? Uh, and it also sounds like they're more likely to trade up than trade down. So yeah, looking like it's more than likely probably locked in quarterback with their pick.
yeah, I would say so. But you forgot to mention the chosen one, Cam Newton. Yeah, well, Cam Newton.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. I forgot he was in there a
Uh,
little bit.
I'm just playing, but yeah, I think it's definitely the year. I mean, new head coach, right? New GM, technically, new direction they're going to be going. So quarterback is definitely the direction that they should go. I know I not necessarily the Patriots, but I've seen some people speculate should go for Russ or something. They're phrasing quarterback and draft Marvin Harrison, but I don't know. I feel like they should just get a good quarterback, see what they got in this one. They're already going in a new direction, right? So just test your luck, see if you get the right quarterback in the building. I feel like that's probably the best choice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whether it's drafting or getting a veteran, it's got to be a quarterback, right? So just depends on how they want to go about it. If they want to bring in fresh, or I mean, assuming that they bring in a veteran presence. They can't be expecting to have, long-term season success, playoff runs. Like, I don't think they're expecting that. Or maybe they are, but, I don't think that's what reality will be. So to me, it feels like this is more of a rebuilding phase. Get that young guy that at the same time, I don't know, because I mean they did that with Jones and that didn't pan out. So I don't know. I guess maybe I there could be a chance. Yeah, maybe they get the veteran, go Marvin Harrison, or um, how do you pronounce his name? Adonze, or I forgot how they pronounce his name. The second guy receiver.
Oh, Rome,
Yeah,
Rome.
yeah. I forgot how to pronounce his last name. Yeah, if they can't get Marvin,
Yeah,
yeah, if they can't get Marvin, yeah, maybe they go that route. Especially since last time they went all in on a young rookie quarterback, it didn't really pan out. Mac Jones, but who knows? It's going to be a quarterback, whatever way they do it, but we'll see. But yeah, that's going to wrap up most of the news for the league and for the draft. Still more to come from the combine. We're recording today, Friday night. Still got a few days left for the combine. So we'll be keeping an eye out, watching that. Check out all our posts. We're usually posting stuff for the combine. We'll be kind of following it closely. So make sure to check that out. Our Instagram, our YouTube here as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Shoots.
it's